talk about these animals in existence finally. This is another machine I built in 2008. It was a note on biofuels. So we built from a Volkswagen engine, 2.4 diesel. It drives, that tiny little red thing is a hand-driven seed press. So you can press oil when you put seed in it, like sunflower seeds or rapeseed. We used rapeseed actually. And what happens is just you got these 90 horsepower engine to just do that. Beep, 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 beep. And it just presses enough oil and it goes in those tanks, those little yellow ones, and gets filtered, and then it ends up in a chamber which is heated by the exhaust, and then it's just fluid enough to go back into the engine. So it's a perpetuum mobile. Well, not really. You have to add rapeseed all the time. And what you get back is lots of fun because it's about, I don't know, 120 decibels and black smoke. But all environmentally friendly. Well, then I'm a painter as well. It's a little bit off topic here, I think, the painting. But I see my paintings pretty much in the same line as all my my spatial works. I just pick things. In my paintings, I usually steal from old masters. So this is a picture by Monet, the Olympia, and right now it's called the Armed Venus. She lies there, and well, oh yeah, well there's another one. I really love machinery and tools and everything. So I thought, okay, how about I make a picture of the Messiah. In a way that we don't really need the Messiah. Or actually, it's the other way around. The Messiah doesn't need us. This guy does not have enemies. It does not have friends. He just does it himself with very good tools in his garden shed. He just fixes it, you know. He does it himself. So there's no problem. We don't have to terrorize other countries and other people for what he might think. He just, you know, he's a quiet guy and well stocked in tools. Here's the other, you might notice that this Jesus looks a tiny little bit like me. I couldn't help that because there was just no one around at the time that I got the idea. So I just started making pictures of myself wearing that thingamajigs. This is another invention. Of course, it's the joke, Ku Klux clock. But then again, I thought, it'll make a nice statement on the whole racist thing. So let's make this clock, have this pointed guy coming out with a shotgun, yelling Ku Klux all the time, and strung up black people underneath. I mean, it's like a bloody big part of the history of North America where these practices were just normal. So I thought, let's, you know, and that the fact that they dress up, you know, don't just do it like that. They dress up first and then they start doing nasty things to each other. I thought that the dressing up part is very nice because a Ku Klux clock is a dressed up clock. Because if you open it, you throw everything away. What's inside is a really, really cool piece of artwork, that clockwork. It's terribly smart and the way it works. Okay. Other machine, I've been working on that with Danny over there. Sorry, I probably should use your other name. Well, I forgot, I'm sorry. This is called the Run Buddy. It's my note on the stupid idea of fitness. How do you say it? Where you go inside and run on conveyor belts and breathe each other's air for hours, and then you leave, when you leave, you go by car. Those things, fitness centers. I thought, okay, let's take it outside again and breathe some real air. So this Run Buddy is a conveyor belt built on top of an electric cart. And what happens when you walk on it is that the cart starts running exactly the speed that you walk on it. Not a little bit faster, not a little bit slower, just exactly the speed. So you could also not use it. And of course, you hit your head on every door. When you go through, you hit your head because the door will be there. But it's got everything. It measures your heartbeat. It sees how much calories you've burned. All kind of things. You're very handy. And it's got, of course, headlights and a horn. It's all very convenient. Then we got a little bit closer to the ostrich copter here, because that's one of his legs before it was taxidermied. I needed its legs for a project called Roadkill Big Bird. I got a lot of criticism on the cat, and I got a lot of criticism on the Roadkill book, because people say, "Oh my God, that's terrible, and it smells, and it's not very nice." And we usually don't just look at it when it's on the side of the road. And I thought, okay, well, not doing real animals this time. Let's do Big Bird. Say Big Bird is an actual bird about 3 meters tall, walking around in our European woods. Just, you know, doing the thing, going around very smoothly. But Sesame Street is, of course, a national park, because nothing bad ever happens there. But national parks, on the other hand, tend to go with the time. And where is a national park when it does not have its own highway? Because usually national parks do. So people can tunnel under the highway, so all the hedgehogs can go under and over with on well. This is what happens when you drive your SUV through Sesame Street nowadays. So there was an art project that was a couple of months ago. And in the whole process of making that, I had a complete ostrich as a leftover. Because I needed ostrich legs. Those are the orange ones on the Big Bird are silicones. You can actually tie a knot in them. It's quite funny. But then I had a whole ostrich in the freezer already as a skin leftover, and I thought, what better than to start again after the orvillecopter and make an ostrich copter, the one flightless bird to make fly again. I think it's what they want. I really do. I mean, just go over the Serengeti, you know, speeding around, laughing at those untrustworthy wildebeests, and just having a lot of fun. So by mechanizing the world, you can always make it a tiny little bit better. Any questions?
Kan deze hier aan?
That's not a question. Well, yeah, it's a fun way to live the life, really.
Nee,
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Gaat hem niet worden. Foto's laten zien. En een presentatie.
No, I have not.
No, I want to put it on.
Okay.
Ik kan het op stick zetten.
Well, cool.
Ja.
That'd be nice. Yeah. So, is it art? I like to call myself an artist. For some it's not, but it's always a technical challenge to try and get it done. Even though I'm more of the idea, and when it comes to, you know, soldering things and making it actually work, I usually have to ask someone else, like Danny or Aaron, to help me out, because I lack the intelligence maybe there on that side.
Yes, I want to show you some pictures of the construction of the ostrich copter, but we need to do some technical transfer. Can I use this memory stick?
Pull the plug.
Okay. Yeah.
Please bear with us for a
So
second.
yeah, okay.
Oh, let's do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He's quite large, but he's not very heavy anymore. He used to be 90 kilos. When I got him from the farmer, I called all the ostrich farms in Holland. They're about 9, because ostriches don't do very well in our climate. They get all fungy, mildewy. Is that a word? And he was in a wheelbarrow, and it was quite sad, because it was a beautiful young male, and he got sick of disease, and he died. And the farmer knew that I called because I had him on the phone. And then a couple of weeks later, he called me and he said, "Bart, I have a dead ostrich. Do you want it?" I was like, "Yeah, okay. When can I pick it up?" It was like the day before Christmas. And he said, "Well, it died last night and it's sitting there. I was like, okay, well, let's. I'll come now. Just jumped in my car. Just happened to think of a tarp to put in the car, like the blue plastic thing. And we got to the Ostrich, and we pretty much forgot to tilt it over before, because when we die, things tend to relax. And a 90-kilo ostrich, an ostrich that can lay an egg about this big, has a cloaca, which is like a circular muscle, which is also able to be that big, or maybe even bigger. I don't know what the ostrich had been doing during his life. And a hole that big can release quite a lot of fluid, if the fluid's still inside, which it was. So I got, with this farmer, I picked up the ostrich from, it was huge, it was heavy, it was 90 kilos, so we were like, "Ah!" And we poured about 3 liters of yellow liquid right into my car. And I was, oh my God! Luckily, it was all in the tarp, so it was not actually in the upholstery of the car. But no, I was alone by myself, because I wouldn't have fit it all together. But that was the funny story of, if you ever get an ostrich, empty it first. No, because it died of disease, we just didn't know what. Because it's the ostrich that died before, because when I had him on the phone, he said, you're just too late, I just brought one away. And that one died because it swallowed a screw this long. Because they just swallow things, that's what they do. They've got like huge body, little brain, and they see something shiny and they go like, oh. And he swallowed, he was punctured all the way through, and it was very sad. We could have eaten that one. But, well, unfortunately, no, not the screw. Well, you might have used it as a pin to roast it on. But this one was sick, and it was, even though it was still 90 kilos, probably it would have been 100, or maybe it was 80, I don't know. He was quite skinny. So there's that. And by now the cat's working, isn't it? Almost. We still have to feed it. And on a bowl of this cat food, it lives for about 5 minutes. Sorry? Oh, yeah, that's all right. Yeah, if people have questions. Oh. Everything always comes at once. Yeah, another question from you. Oh yeah, get on and run to the mic and then start doing your song.
Do you think you'll do something larger than an ostrich?
Yeah, we've been thinking about a whale, really. Another sperm whale washed up on the beach of, I can't remember where, but it was last week. With the last whale, it was a blue whale they found it in the Rotterdam harbor on the bow of a ship. It was rammed somewhere en route. We were like, a whale? We must at least call. Who do you call? Well, you're looking in the phone directory. Where's for whales call? So in the end, we got hold of them, and they were like, in the background, you heard like chainsaws going, and they were taking it apart, and they were really not amused that I called, and they were like, why are you calling? We're working on this thing. It's not fresh. It's been dead for about 7 weeks. It's been on there since Haiti, and what are you doing? We're taking it apart. And then they just hung up. It was like, okay, well, maybe a whale was a little bit too far-fetched. Well, that's the story about the whale. But we're thinking of giraffes. Yeah, giraffe. Everybody's been calling elephants, so we're not going to do an elephant now. That might be a hot air balloon or something.
There's a bunch of animals that are going extinct, right? Like the black rhino just went out, and George.
Yeah, like the white ones.
Yeah.
They're actually having drones in some African park now to cover the 4 white rhinos that are still left there. And I thought, well, yeah. That thing is the drone to do it. They won't even see it flying. It's like, oh, look, it's just an ostrich. And then you pow the pouchers.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah.
Ja, klopt. Alleen die prezi, die krijgen jullie niet gekopieerd.
Any more questions?
Ik heb hem ook online staan. Oké, prima.
How do I?
Dus dan gaat het
I
dan.
preserve the animals
Mooi.
by, well actually I had these done. The skins I bring to a taxidermist, but they're a mixture of, I don't know the English words, they're lye and, you know, they go into a bath of tanning liquid. It's called the tanning process, and it actually changes the molecular structure of the skin so that it's not edible anymore by tiny little creatures. So you have to do that, and it dries out. The legs of the ostrich are still quite salty if you taste them. I did. I don't know. I was like, hey, what's this white stuff? Yeah, you have to. You have to know, man.
Shall we let it fly, Bart?
Oh yeah, why not?
Who wants to see the orvillecopter fly? Yeah, okay. Here we go.
Goed.
Huh?
Prima dit.
Ja, helemaal goed zo, hè?
Durf je hem hier zijwaarts zo? Of zeg je, dat is niet lekker? It did crash 3 times with the old engines. And in this climate, it's very nice to have some wind. So you could also just hang it over your head and just cool off.
I haven't felt more comfortable today than I'm doing now.
And it doesn't litter anymore, which is great too. Right here there's no wind, so it's really steady. Outside, these bulky quadcopters have quite a bit of trouble with the wind, especially the ostrich. With the wind we had today, it was almost impossible to fly. And we can't fly because it crashed and we have a problem now. Hooray! So I really wish I could show you the ostrich today doing that as well, but we flew about 10 times 5 days ago and it crashed once because one of the wires got torn loose and just one of the engines quit and it flipped over.
And now something is unbalanced.
Something with one of the propellers is just, it goes really wild and it just won't lift. So,
Well, it will
sorry.
lift, but it will crash immediately.
Yeah, it will lift and then crashes again.
Yeah.
We could turn it on, but then it's just an ostrich that's sitting there with spinning rotors. I'm not sure if that's the fun.
So now we are going to show you how we built the ostrich copter.
I'll put it back in the middle. Bye! Always love it when people walk out. Thanks! They just,
So-
you know, they must know they're leaving. They must know it.
We start with the construction of the frame. Meanwhile, Bart had already started with the body. So this is actually the base of the ostrich copter. It's just aluminum and you can buy it at any hardware store. These are the actual bones of the ostrich. We had them taxidermied what did they do with it, Bart?
Yeah, he had to get all the stuff that's inside it out. Those bones are really light because even though an ostrich is a flightless bird, it's still a bird and the bones are hollow, so it weighs almost next to nothing.
It feels like Tampax,
Yeah, it's like.
but it looks like real heavy bones. Strange. So here I'm making progress. The new motors are installed. It's 3 kilowatt motors each, so we have a total of 12 kilowatt for the ostrich copter. This is the final stage of the platform, where I'm going to do a test flight with the body itself and batteries, the same batteries we have been using today. From my cat, which is not really a big cat, you can see the size of it. Excuse me?
Remember how he reacted when he saw Orville copter for the
Yeah,
first time?
yeah. When my cat saw Orville for the first time, he went totally scared, and he got underneath a closet and stayed there for 1 hour. And now he can sleep next to Orville copter. It just doesn't care anymore. Here the platform flies. So tested successfully. With batteries that can handle 200 amps each. And the Ostrich copter really needs that with its 12 kilowatts. Here we are assembling the platform together with the body of the Ostrich copter. The body is made of polyurethane. Bart already made that before. He had to do a lot of studying on natural shape of ostriches, but it turned out to be the shape of an ostrich in flight. So maybe you can tell something about that, how you got to that shape.
It's this thing. It's a huge, huge naked chicken. That's what it is. It's just huge. It was exactly the chicken, the turkey that you have with Christmas. Yeah, it's a bird. And,
Okay.
but it took me a little bit to find the shape, and I had to look at photos and things because there's no ostriches ready. Well, you can buy preformed shapes that are like 700 euros, and I thought, okay, well, let's not do that.
Let's save that money.
Yeah.
Well, the first idea was to have it shaped like a normal helicopter, so with a collective pitch rotor on top and a tail rotor.
What's collective pitch?
Collective pitch is the rotor system of a normal helicopter, where you can adjust the angle of the blades, of the rotor blades. So that was the first idea, but then I had to create a rotor head, which would take me a lot of time and a lot of money. This was the easiest, the cheapest and the most efficient way to create a helicopter out of the ostrich. Yeah, we thought we could do that in one day, but it turned out we had about 1 week for the finalization of the Ostrich copter.
Yeah, the whole project took about 3 months.
No. To see if everything is level. And again, close the platform into the per body. Here we go.
You see, there's the chicken. It's a chicken.
It's a big chicken.
It's a humongous chicken. It's completely bonkers.
A nightmare chicken.
And it got a polyester lid for the
Yeah.
technical department.
And the landing gear also made of aluminum and how would you call that wood?
Balsa wood.
Balsa wood.
Oh, sorry about that.
And the compartment above is to put in the batteries. The controller is inside. The battery for the flight controller is inside. So all the important electrics are in the center of the Ostrich copter.
Hey, don't those batteries get hot?
No, the batteries don't get hot because there's a fan in the cloaca of the Ostrich copter. Maybe you could show that to the audience.
There is a
Bart.
cloaca fan. Sorry, can I borrow your head for a second? We did that on purpose.
For
if
transport.
it crashes, for transport not only, but if it crashes, it'll probably break off, and then you have lots more. So we thought, okay, let's make it this way. That will break anyway, and the first thing that happens is that it breaks, and we can just reattach it. This way, I can turn a little bit.
Yeah, the principle we used, it will crash anyway. So when it crashes, we need to have as little damage as possible.
That
You can see the fan. It's not running now because it's not connected.
But there's a hole through. He's just got a new arse, really, and it's a cooling fan arse.
I could need one right now.
Yeah, true. I don't get this thing.
Again, the frame.
You see,
No motors. Chicken. Christmas turkey.
Actually, I found it a shame that when the skin got around it, that we lost the chicken shape. I got so used to the chicken shape, looking at it for weeks and weeks, chicken shape, and then we put it around the feathers and it was gone. It's a shame, isn't it? No chicken.
To charge the batteries, I had to make a special charging station. On the top you see a server, what's the word? Power supply. In the middle you see the balancer chargers. They charge each cell of the lithium polymer batteries separately. This charges at 7 amps per battery. So we got a total of around 42 amps on 12 volt for charging. This is really mean stuff. If you treat them wrong, they will explode. So. Here Bart is getting intimate with the ostrich.
Yeah, that was the cloaca fan insertion, I think.
Yeah. Excuse me?
It's definitely a chicken.
Yeah, it's definitely, yeah.
Why, I heard it. I heard him.
So last Friday night we did the final construction work on the Ostrich copter. And on Saturday we made the first test flight. This is just before the first test flight, which maybe some of you have seen already on YouTube. And this is it on the field, our big bird.
Do you have the video?
I can look it up on YouTube.
Cool.
Huh? Anyone? Okay.
Because we're not going to get it to fly for real. At least
Not today.
you can say, okay, well, they weren't lying, you know. It does fly.
Can you help me? How do I start fire? Ah, here it comes. Ah.
Close it.
Yes, thanks.
Do the second, the first one, yeah, the second test, yeah, that one. Oh yeah, sorry about that. We're earning money on it for next projects. Don't you guys have the ad block on it?
Well, actually, at first test, it flew well immediately. That's like a miracle. That's not normal in this kind of sport. So the troubles we ought to have in the beginning, we now have.
Touchdown.
Yes. Werkt Google hier? Sure.
Oké.
Ja, 10 minutes.
Laat je je dingetje nog zien? Now everybody's going to know your password.
So now you all know my email. So I got a presentation here about the construction of the orvillecopter. The song you're hearing has a title is Take Me Into Your Skin. I will turn it down right away. But I thought it was appropriate for this presentation. So in the beginning, when Bart spoke first, the left image was what he had in mind, and I could convince him that we needed to buy a quadcopter because that would simply look better, function better, would be more stable. And this is what it became. We used a Lotus T580 ready to fly quadcopter as a base. Later on we had to do a lot of changes, but for a beginning this actually was a very, very good quadcopter. Over here you can see the speed controller, flight controllers, 4 times 18 amp. The picture you saw half an hour ago, creation of the orvillecopter body without the skin. And to make it fly, we used this battery, just 11 volt, 3 cells, with a maximum current draw of 88 amps. And then we had the first test flight.
And it just wouldn't.
It just wouldn't lift. We didn't have enough power. I made some test flights just with the body, without the skin, but after the skin was installed, it just became too heavy and it couldn't really fly anymore. So we had one option, more power. So we doubled the power. New speed controllers. 4 times Ardinges Plush, 30 amps speed controller. New controller board. We used this one, the Hobby King multi-rotor controller version 3.0. And as you have seen, it works perfectly. Couldn't have a better one. Then of course I had to change the software on the controller. And I had been using the DMOL's KK Multicopter flash tool. But you can find a lot of more software on the internet. No. The motors, which were originally from the Lotus, they tended to overheat. They were designed for 11 volt and we increased the voltage with new batteries to 15 volts. So it had to do about double the power, which was in the end too much for these electric motors. So from our sponsor, we got high model motors and this works just without any problem. They don't overheat, they can handle the 15 volts without a problem, double the power, 1600 watts in total. It's actually finished, the Orvillecopter now as it is. And for closing, I give you this video.
Precies te zijn tonen wij u het bestaan van de zogenaamde orvillecopter. Half kat, half helikopter. Maar dat was slechts een prototype. Het meeste werk is nu voltooid. Daarom hierbij een dringend advies voor Marianne Thieme en consorten. Kijk de komende minuten maar even niet.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird. It's a plane.
Het is de orvillecopter.
Klinkt heel spannend.
Ja, dit is mijn kat.
Huh?
Dat was jouw kat.
Ik had een broedertal gekocht ooit tegen de muizen en eentje werd vorig jaar overreden. Dat was Orville.
Wat is er?
Had je toen toch niet zoiets van toen hij werd aangereden van ja, heel zielig, maar ik doe wat met dode beesten. Het is wel echt een mooie kans.
Het was echt 2 dagen rouw. Niet constant, maar wel 2 dagen rouw. En na de tweede dag was het ook echt afgelopen. Toen dacht ik, en nu iets leuks. Hij heeft ook nog een half jaar in de vriezer gelegen. Gewoon naast de kroketten. Om mij de tijd te gunnen om het idee uit te werken. Van, hoe?
Maar Orville is dus vernoemd naar een van de eerste mensen die vloog. Hè, de gebroeders Wright, Orville Wright.
Ja, juist.
Dus he was meant to fly.
Daarom.
Denk je dat Orville dit ook gewild had?
Ja, absoluut.
Hij wilde graag vliegen.
Hij hield vreselijk van vogeltjes. Ja.
He loved
Ja, we
birds.
kunnen even onder de motorkap kijken.
Ik ben benieuwd wat Orville in huis heeft.
Jij weet precies wat Orville onder de motorkap heeft.
Zo'n Orville is goed voor zo'n 600 watt.
Jij weet er niet alleen heel veel van. Jij bent ook de enige die ermee kan vliegen, want jij kan het dus nog niet.
Nee, ik moet echt op les eerst.
Ja, even aaien.
Ja, hij zit een beetje zo hard op de paard.
Ja.
All engine running. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hij kijkt wel heel erg angstig.
Hij kijkt geconcentreerd.
Hoe hoog kan hij?
Theoretische kilometer.
Dat is echt te gek. Even kijken hoe ze op de koeien reageren. Ja. Pak ze! Pak ze, Orville!
Ik vond het zo leuk, dat vliegen. Ik dacht, daar moeten we even bij blijven. Dus ik ga meer dingen laten vliegen. Vliegende blauwe vinvis, dat zou te gek zijn. Metertje of 30. Dat zijn
A whale.
goede plannen, dus zat te doen.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much. For those interested in quadcopters and other flying apparatuses, the next lecture will be on mathematically modeling multi-rotor vehicles. So stay in this room if you're interested in that side of the story. Thank you very much, and remember, we need volunteers.